You may rescue let them drown, problems be burning, send some angels you may rescue me. Let your true be burning, send the good across the way. Some control, who will see you may rescue me safe. You may rescue me safe. Good morning, Sister Winsome. How are you doing, my love? Good to see you. Good to see you. Happy Wednesday morning to you, my love. Glad to see you. Alrighty. Now, today we are going to be reading. We are going to continue reading the book of Proverbs. And guess what? Today, we are going to complete the reading of the book of Proverbs. We are going to be reading from chapters 25 through to 31. So come with me, guys. Get your book Bible or your Google Bible, whichever one it is, and let us read. How are you doing, Sister Winsome? I hope you're having a great Wednesday morning, my dear. I hope you are ready to read with me. Winsome, I hope you don't hold me guilty for having fallen asleep last night. Boy, I tell you. But it is what it is, and we are going to continue doing what we do every morning over here. Now, for those of you who are new here, a very, very special welcome to you. Thank you so much for coming into the live. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. Now, over here, what we do each morning is we read the Bible. We are on a quest, actually, to read the Bible in its entirety from beginning to end. And if you are just joining us, you're a little bit late. We are on to the book of Proverbs. Now, we do not endorse any particular religion or denomination over here. What we are trying to do is, as lay people, to know what's in the Bible for ourselves, because for too long we have been told what is in the Bible. We have attended lots and lots of crusades and church meetings and being told a verse here and a verse there, but never the entire story. But we think differently. We believe that we need to know the entire story. And so we are reading the Bible from the beginning to the end and tying up the loose ends because they are many. Alrighty. So here, Joel said you need exactly. Joe always tell me I need rest, but usually I don't get the rest until I'm extremely tired. Like last night, I don't know. But after being up on the boat for 8 full days in a row, I can understand why I crashed last night. But it's okay. I'm up this morning and we are going to be at it again. We're going to read the Bible and then we're going to read a chapter or two from that other book and then do whatever else we got to do for the day. All right. So let us begin. Proverbs chapter 25. These are also Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied out. It is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out the matter. The heaven for height and the earth for depth, and the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and there shall come forth a vessel for the finer. Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness. Put not forth thyself in the presence of the king, and stand not in the place of great men. For better it is that it be said unto thee, Come up hither, than that thou shouldest be put lower in the presence of the prince whom thine eyes have seen. Go not forth hastily to strife. Go not forth hastily to strife. Be not quick for war, lest thou know not what to do in the end thereof, when thy neighbor hath put thee to shame. Debate thy cause with thy neighbor himself, and discover not a secret to another, lest he that heareth it put thee to shame, and thine infamy turn not away. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in pictures of silver. That's interesting. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in pictures of silver. That means it's the odd one out. Verse 12 says, As an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold, so is a wise reprover upon an obedient ear. As the cold of snow in the time of harvest, so is a faithful messenger to them that send him. For he refresheth the soul of the masters. You see how odd that is? It is representing this oddness. As the cold of snow in the time of harvest. You know you don't harvest in the snow. You harvest in the summer. So that would be quite odd to see someone harvesting in the snow. Who else is here? Welcome into the live, everyone. Let us continue. Verse 14 says, Whosoever boasted himself of a false gift is like clouds and wind without rain. By long forbearing is a prince persuaded, and a soft tongue breaketh the bone. Hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomit it. Only eat as much as is sufficient for you. Only take as much that you can use, or else you be overfilled and vomit it up. That doesn't just mean something you literally eat. That could go for anything. Remember in previous chapters we read about gluttony? Don't be gluttonous. Yes, don't be gluttonous. Don't take more than you need just because you want to deprive the other person of having any. Take just enough what you need. and leave some for somebody else. That could go for anything in life: food, money, affection, love, whatever it is. Don't be gluttonous about it. Take just enough that you need and leave some for somebody else. Because if you take more than you need, you might choke on it. Verse 17. And for those of you just coming, we are reading from Proverbs chapter 25. Withdraw thy foot from thy neighbor's house, lest he be weary of thee, and so hate thee. Don't go spread bed at your neighbor's house. No make people be tired of you. Lest he be weary of you. It means him tired of you and starts to hate you. You could have a good neighbor and your neighbor is very nice and you like each other. But that doesn't mean when you wake up first thing in the morning before cock put on in George, you're gone in your neighbor yard, gonna go sit down and gossip, and you have to make breakfast over there, and you have to eat over there, and you have to sit down over there, you have to play with the dog, you have to do... No! Your neighbor will get tired of you, and we'll start hating you, and we start pretending that they're not there, just to avoid you, so you can stay away. No make nobody treat you like that. Don't be so presumptuous and show up yourself all the time. Make people long to see you sometimes. Don't be so overbearing on any individual that they become so tired of you. Lord, me tired of her. Jeez and peace, me tired of her. Every morning she have nothing to do for her yard. Why as soon as she wake up, she there in my yard? Don't do that. And the Bible says so. The Bible says in verse 17 of chapter 25 of Proverbs, withdraw thy foot from thy neighbor's house, lest he become tired of you and starts to hate you. Verse 18 says, a man that bears false witness against his neighbor is a maul. The Bible calls him a maul. Let me see what that maul means. M-A. Let me see. Let me check out here. A heavy, often wooden-headed hammer used especially for driving wedges. A tool like a sledgehammer. A man that beareth false witness against his neighbor is a maul, and a sword, and a sharp arrow. Confidence is an unfaithful man. Confidence in an unfaithful man is in time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. Now you know. Servant David, how are you doing, my love? Good to see you. Happy Wednesday. A broken tooth is a real annoyance. Imagine your foot without a joint. How are you going to be able to flex and walk? That's what the Bible compares an unfaithful man to. Your man is unfaithful to you, but yet in times of trouble, you have great confidence in him that he's going to show up, that he's going to stand up, that he's going to be there for you. The Bible says that is like a broken tooth or a foot without joint. Think about it. Somebody who is unfaithful to you when there is no trouble. Do you think they're going to be faithful to you in times of trouble? No. They're not going to be, because people are who they are. If they don't stand up for you when things are nice and good, when trouble comes, when you need them the most, do you believe they're going to stand up for you? I don't think so. So when you think about what's the use having an unfaithful man around, think about Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 19. Confidence in an unfaithful man is in time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. As he that taketh away a garment in cold weather, and as vinegar upon nitre, so is he that singeth songs to an heavy heart. If thine enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. For thou shalt heap coals of fire upon his head, and the Lord shall reward thee. The north wind driveth away rain, so that an angry countenance, a backbiting tongue. It is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman and in a wide house. As cold waters to the thirsty soul, so is good news from a far country. A righteous man falling down before the wicked is as a troubled fountain and a corrupt spring. It is not good to eat much honey. So for men to search their own glory is not glory. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Here ends the reading of Proverbs chapter 25. We are going to move on. We are going to continue on to Proverbs chapter 26. And for those of you who don't know, this morning we are reading the entire book. We are reading the remainder of the book of Proverbs. Let us continue. Proverbs chapter 26. As snow in summer and as rain in harvest, so honor is not seemly for a fool. As the bird wandering meaning you are lost. As the bird by wandering, as the swallow by flying, so the curse causeless shall not come. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the ass, and a rod for the fool's back. A whip for the horse. Remember when men who are riding horse usually have a little whip, and when they whip the horse, it makes the horse go faster. So does a bridle for the donkey. You put a bridle on the donkey. When you pull up on the bridle, it either causes the donkey to slow down or for him to go a little faster. It's a way to control the animal. And so it says, and a rod for the fool's back. That goes without saying. Verse 4 says, answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou also be like unto him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. Be not wise in it. I tell you, Buju is something else. You know that Buju song, be not wise in your own conceit? Y'all know that song? Go ahead and listen to Buju's album Till Shiloh and you will hear it. Verse 6 says, he that sendeth a message by the hand of a fool cuts off the feet and drinks damage. The legs of the lame are not equal, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. The legs of the lame are not equal. So is a parable in the mouth of fools. Fools are not able to decipher a parable to determine what it really means. As he that bindeth a stone in a sling, so is he that gives honor to a fool. As a thorn goeth up into the hand of a drunkard, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. The great God that formed all things both rewards the fool and rewards transgressors. As a dog returns to his vomit, so a fool returns to his folly. Seest thou a man wise in his own conceit? There is more hope of a fool than of him. There is more hope for a fool than for a man who is wise in his own conceit. He thinks he knows, but he doesn't. He thinks he's wise, but he isn't. A fool is wiser. A fool who knows that he is a fool is wiser than a fool who doesn't know that he is a fool. Think about it. Verse 12 again says, Seest thou a man wise in his own conceit? There is more hope of a fool than of him. The slothful man saith, There is a lion in the way. A lion is in the streets. As the door turneth upon his hinges, so doth the slothful upon his bed. The slothful hides his hand in his bosom. It grieveth him to bring it again to his mouth. The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. He that passeth by and meddleth with strife belongs not to him, is like one that taketh a dog by the ears. As a madman who casteth firebrands, arrows, and death, so is the man that deceiveth his neighbor, and saith, Am not I in sport? Where no wood is, there the fire goeth out. So where there is no talebearer, the strife ceaseth. As coals are to burning coals, and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered with silver dross. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fairly, believe him not. Let's read that again. When he speaketh fairly, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Let's go back and read from verse 22. The words of a talebearer, somebody who love carry go bring come, who love run carry news, are as wounds. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered with silver dross. He that hates dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaks fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Whose hatred is covered by deceit, his wickedness shall be shewed before the whole congregation. Whosoever digs a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. verse 28, and this is the last verse of chapter 26. A lying tongue hates those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth works ruin. Here ends the reading of Proverbs chapter 26. A lying tongue hates those that are afflicted by it. It is out of hatred that you tell lies on other people. It is because you hate them why you would open your mouth and tell a lie on somebody. To say somebody did something or said something that they didn't do or say is an act of hatred. So says Proverbs chapter 26 and verse 28. A lying tongue hates those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth works ruin. There ends the reading of Proverbs chapter 26. Thank you all for coming into the live. Those of you who are here, those of you who are coming, I sincerely appreciate you all. Now, let's move on to Proverbs chapter 27. Proverbs chapter 27 says, "Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger, and not thine own lips. A stone is heavy, and the sand weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than them both. Wrath is cruel, and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? Wrath, anger, and envy, I think they go hand in hand. Chapter 27 of the Proverbs, verse 4 says, "Wrath is cruel, anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy?" Open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. The full soul hates a honeycomb, but to the hungry soul every bitter thing is sweet. As a bird that wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place. Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart. So doth the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. Thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not. Neither go into thy brother's house in the day of thy calamity, for better is a neighbor that is near than a brother that is far away. My son, be wise, and make my heart glad, that I may answer him that reproacheth me. A prudent man foreseeth the evil, and hides himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and take a pledge of him for a strange woman. He that blesses his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him. A continual dropping in a very rainy day, and a contentious woman are alike. Let's read that again. A continual dropping in a very rainy day, and a contentious woman are alike. Now tell me if that comparison right there isn't true. Imagine a rainy day where the rain is just constantly falling. It's just constantly dropping. When you think it is easing up, it starts coming down some more. When you think it has stopped and you step out, there are still drizzles. That is how the Bible describes a contentious woman. And I don't know why the Bible always is saying woman. It's not women alone who are contentious, men are too. But considering the patriarchy from which the Bible was written, consider the patriarchal society that existed back then, you understand why in the Bible it always talks about the woman as though the woman is always the problem. But we know better, right? We know better. Because the patriarchal society that the Bible adores, we do not ascribe to that. No, we don't. Convince me otherwise if you want. Try to, but we don't. There are no women. We are not sitting in the house anymore and just being baby makers, washing our man's shoes and his socks and keeping him fed and cleaned. And no, we are out there making our own buck. We are doing our own thing because over the years we have discovered that the men are not really standing up for us as they used to for our great 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 grandparents. So we have had to step out of the house, step out of the motherly role of staying home and having babies and raising and nurturing them. And we have had to step into our own, making our own money, leading our own lives, doing our own thing. That's what women are doing. So when the Bible is always talking about women, 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 we understand where it's coming from. But the Bible describes the drizzling rain all day, the rain falling all day, as a contentious woman who is always finding something to fuss about. The man can't have no peace because she's always finding something to worry about. She's always in his ear. She's always worrisome. She's always worrying somebody. She's just too much. Have you ever come across those people? Oh, I have come across those people. In the workplace, I've come across those people. Every single thing bothers them. They are always on somebody's case because nobody can do anything right. Only them. They are the only ones who went to nursing school. They are the only ones who know how to put an IV. They are the only ones who know what should be done. And if somebody else ever dares to do something differently, they got a problem. They got a problem with everybody. They're complaining to the manager. They got to complain. They got to say, this person did this person did that. Oh, this person was 5 minutes late with the medication. Oh, this person was not in the huddle. Oh, this person was, oh, they make me sick. When I tell you they make me sick, live and let live. If you can help somebody, help the person. If you can't help them, just keep going and leave them alone. But it's not you cannot help them, or you can, but you won't. But when they mess up, when they do something wrong, you find a whole bunch of problems. You make up stories. You start to embellish stuff just because you want to be seen. You make me sick. Sister Jackie, what's up? How you doing, my love? Winsome, I tell you. Like it's for them place. Love carry news. Just make the working environment so miserable. So miserable. I tell you, I worked with a woman one time, and I beg God never to make me work with another one like her. I got another one like her that I got eyes on right now. But that woman made me so sick. Just a nasty human being. Just a disgusting human being. I don't know how people live like that. You're miserable. You're miserable in your life. You're miserable at home. You come to work, you bring your misery. You throw your misery on your co-workers. Why? Why you do that for? Chill. She come to work. She's going to school. She has her. She is doing her work on the job's computer. So whenever you walk up to her, she switches screen. But you already see she doing schoolwork. And a CNA who is trying to better herself by going to school brings a little iPad. She had a little break time. There were 3 patients on the floor. 3. And the CNA sit down, a little downtime. And she is on her iPad. And you run go complain. While you are sitting right there on the government's computer and doing your assignment. And you see a CNA open up her schoolwork one time, and you run go complain that they are doing schoolwork at work. But you are there doing schoolwork as well on the government computer. Why people gotta be so miserable? Why you gotta be so miserable? Why you gotta be so disgusting? Why you gotta be so cruel? Why you gotta be so mean? And you send enough emails about somebody, you send enough emails, and nobody investigates. Nobody investigates because they sit there and they believe you. They don't ask any question because, oh well, you can't be telling a lie. You shouldn't be telling a lie. They don't think you are telling a lie. It can't be you lie. It has to be true, whatever you say. And once you know, those right people know that whatever they say is going to be taken as gospel, OMG, they will destroy somebody else. Because here now somebody has put them on a pedestal, taking their word as gospel. I tell you, I don't know if you all have encountered those people. Well, when I encounter those people, they make me sick, literally sick. Yes. And then they get favors. They get favors from the boss because they don't stop carrying news. Yeah, they get special favors. I used to see this girl, she stay at work. She would stay at work till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. What she staying at work doing? Talk about, because I'm the charge nurse, I stay and I check everybody's charge. Bitch, go home. Go home. Go feed your dogs. What you staying, you checking people? Who are you? Stay talk about you checking people's charting. You checking to me. You sitting there carrying news and making up stories and telling lies. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Oh, they make me so sick. I'm so sick of them. I'm just sick of people doing stuff like that. Just trying to bring somebody else down. Just trying to destroy somebody else's career. I can't understand what could make people be so miserable in their lives. Go read a book. Go sit yourself someplace. Go home. You just done work 12 hours. Go home, go sleep. And you come to work and you are bucking down the place. You are bucking down the place because you are sleeping. Because when work is over 7:30, you won't go to your yard. You stay there till 10, 11 o'clock talking about you checking people's chart. And then you go home and you come back. You're tired and you buck down the place. And make you see somebody else buck. You're ready to write up story and embellish it and make up story and say the person sleeping while you there bucking. You drink coffee until your body can't take it no more. Your eyes are red as blood. When you disappear, you go to find somewhere to nap. But nobody sees you. But somebody else buck off and you run to say, oh, they're bucking off. They're falling asleep. Oh my God. You understand? Some bosses love it, Jackie, and some bosses don't. Some bosses do not like it. Because you see, There are some bosses who know the drill, especially seasoned bosses, people who are seasoned in their role. They can pick up. I tell you, I used to have a boss. Oh my God. I love that man. That man he was, I mean, so insightful. He could see this witch coming a mile off. He could see her coming a mile away. You understand? And whenever he was on the unit and she starts telling a story, you could see the annoyance in his face. You look at him and he would just be like, he rolling his eyes, but not rolling his eyes. Because he would see how she would get so excited and tell a story. And he would call me and he would say, Miss Sam, were you there when such and such happened? Yes, I was there. What happened? And I would say this happened. This is what happened. And he would say, well, that's not the story I heard. When I put your story and the story of the charge nurse is two different stories. So what really happened? I can't go by either story because the two stories are different. That to me is a good leader. You can't just take one person's word. Ask around, and I'm sure he must have asked other people on the unit what happened and gotten different stories of different accounts. But for her, she's always embellishing, always making the story more sensational, always painting herself as the discoverer. I was so afraid of that woman because, let me tell you something. Anytime she is there is always drama. Always drama. You will walk in your patient's room and your patient is just fine. Your patient is sleeping. You turn on the light, you look on your patient is breathing, your patient is fine. She walks in the room and I went to the room and your patient nasal cannula was off and your patient was starting to turn blue. And if I didn't go in the room, your patient would be dead. Like, woman. Like, I've had to tell her several times, please, whatever you do not touch any of my patients. I do not care if you go in there and see them needing immediate CPR. I don't want you touching them before anybody else come in the room because I don't trust you. Yeah, I told her repeatedly. I said, I do not trust you with my patient. Don't touch my patients because you have too much excitement. You have too much excitement. You go in the room, always you finding something. How come somebody else not find it? How comes there are two patients in the room? My patient is to the door. The other nurse's patient is to the window. The other nurse been going in and out the room looking at the two patients. I've been going in and out the room looking at the two patients. They've been fine. And then you go in the room and all of a sudden patient that turned blue. Girl, come out of my face. Get out my face with your garbage, with your foolishness. Always. Always. She always finds something. And those people worry me because they are dangerous. They are dangerous. Because they are so eager to be seen as the hero. They are so eager to be seen as the hero. They will manipulate everything. They will do anything to be seen as the hero. Those are scary people, and you got to be afraid of them. They are the ones who love to carry news to the boss as if they are seeing everything. They are the best nurse on the floor. Nobody else cannot. I remember one time that girl, they called me in to come in and sit telly. And when I'm there sitting telly, I didn't know she was working overtime on another floor. She called up and I answered the phone and she said, "Oh, Miss Amman, you working tonight?" "Yeah, you working telly?" "Yeah." She was like, "Oh, everybody's going to get a sinus with him tonight." I said, "Bitch, don't play with me. Don't play with me. talking about everybody is going to get a sinus rhythm. That is her undermining me, trying to tell me that I can't read a telly straight except a sinus rhythm. These are the kinds of dirty people, and I'm always yite. They're always yite people. They make me sick. I don't like people who do that. No matter who you are, what color you are, whatever. I don't like people. I don't like cruel people. Just unkind, just wicked, just cruel, thinking of themselves as being able and they are better than somebody else. And you find that a lot in nursing. You find it a lot. And sometimes you find brand new nurses who come in. They're just coming out of nursing school. The ink ain't even dried on their license yet. And they come in and they come in with a chip on their shoulder. And they want to undermine an older nurse and belittle an older nurse as though they just coming out of school no more than you who've been a nurse for ages. Oh my God. People, don't get me started. When Jackie says, the boss love the news. I chew, Jackie. You understand, the boss love the news, but not the person who are carry. You're right, Jackie. You are so right. Some bosses love the news. You understand? Some bosses can see what is happening, especially when you have the same person coming carrying the news. And if you ask around, some bosses don't ask around because they love to hear the news and they just go by what one person says. But I tell you, I had a boss many years ago. If you told him, if I would go and I tell him that something happened, he would ask around. He would ask other people what happened. And that to me was a great boss. Because I know that witch was always going carrying news, making up stories and telling lies. And he wasn't falling for it. And because he wasn't falling for it, she didn't like him. She loved people who fall for her BS. But let us continue. See how we hear a chat. But we are going to continue the reading, guys. Verse 15 of Proverb chapter 27. A continual dropping in a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Whoever hides her hides the wind, and the ointment of his right hand, which bewrayeth itself. Iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. Whosoever keepeth the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof. So he that walteth on his master shall be honored. As in water face answereth to face, to the heart of man to man. You get what that means? As in water face answers to face. You ever put your face over water and looks in there? It's like a face looking back at you, right? So, in water, the face will answer to the face. So, the heart of man to man. Hell and destruction are never full. So, the eyes of man are never satisfied. As the finning pot for silver and the furnace for gold, so is a man to his praise. Though thou shouldest bray a fool in a mortar among wheat with a pestle, yet will not his foolishness depart from him. No matter what you do with a fool, his foolishness will not depart from him, because it is part of who he is. If you put him in a mortar and beat him with a pestle, You know, the pestle they use to pound out something in the mortar, he will still become a fool. Exactly. He still be a fool. J- just a powdered fool. I tell you, ambitious Jackie, I tell you, sometimes you really want, sometimes you really want to shut them a box. But you know you can't, you just hold your corners. You just hold your corners. You understand? These people are something else. Verse 23 of chapter 27 says, Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation? The hay appears, and the tender grass show itself, and herbs of the mountains are gathered. The lambs are for thy clothing, and the goats are the prize of the field. Verse 27, And thou shalt have goats' milk enough for thy food, for the food of thy household, and for the maintenance for thy maidens. That's the end of Proverbs chapter 27. All right. This morning we are trying to read off the book of Proverbs because tomorrow we are going to start the book of Ecclesiastes. Boy, I tell you guys, I don't know about you all, but I am glad that I took on this challenge to read the Bible. There is so much in the Bible. There is so much wisdom, so much knowledge, so much understanding for us in the Bible. It is unbelievable, believe you me. But we are going to continue. Proverbs chapter 28. The wicked flee when no man is running after him, but the righteous are bold as a lion. The wicked flees when no one is chasing him. For the transgression of a land, many are the princes thereof, but by a man of understanding and knowledge, the state thereof shall be prolonged. A poor man that oppresseth the poor is like a sweeping rain that leaves no food. A poor man that oppresses another poor man. The Bible says, you are like a sweeping rain which leaveth no food. The rain is coming, but nothing is growing. That's how the Bible describes a poor man who oppresses another poor man. They that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. Evil men understands not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understands all things. Better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness, than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Whosoever keepeth the law is a wise son, and he that is a companion of riotous men shames his father. He that by usury and unjust gain increases his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. He that turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be abomination. Whosoever causeth the righteous to go astray in an evil way, he shall fall himself into his own pit. But the upright shall have good things in possession. The rich man is wise in his own conceit, but the poor that hath understanding searcheth him out. Another Buju song. And the rich man is wise in his own conceit, but the poor that hath understanding searcheth him out. When righteous men do rejoice, there is great glory. But when the wicked rise, but when the wicked rise, a man is hidden. He that covereth his sins shall not prosper, but whosoever confesses and forsakes them shall have mercy. Happy is the man that feareth always, but he that hardeneth his heart shall fall into mischief. As a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over the poor people. The prince that wanteth understanding is also a great oppressor, but he that hateth covetousness shall prolong his days. A man that doeth violence to the blood of any person shall flee to a pit. Let no man stay him. Whosoever walks uprightly shall be saved, but he that is perverse in his ways shall fall at once. He that tilleth his land shall have plenty of bread, but he that follows after vain persons shall have poverty enough. Joseph, good morning, my love. Joseph, I'm sorry for drop asleep on you last night. Please forgive me, Joe. Boy, I couldn't keep up. I could not keep up last night. I am so sorry. I know some I don't normally sleep, but when I do, it comes down heavily. A faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent. To have respect of persons is not good, for a piece of bread that man will transgress. He that hasteth to be rich hath an evil eye, and considereth not that poverty shall come upon him. And when they say that hasted to be rich, it does not mean that if you work for your riches. It means that if you have to deceive people, if you have to con people, if you have to scam people to become rich, poverty shall come upon you. He that rebukes a man afterward shall find more favor than he that flattereth with the tongue. Whosoever robs his father or his mother, and saith, It is no transgression, the same is the companion of a destroyer. He that is of a proud heart stirreth up strife, but he that puts his trust in the Lord shall be made fat. He that trusteth in his own heart is a fool, but whosoever walketh wisely shall be delivered. He that gives unto the poor shall not lack, but he that hides his eyes shall have many a curse. Verse 28, and this is the last verse of chapter 28 of the book of Proverbs. When the wicked rise, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. Here ends the reading of Proverbs chapter 28. Now, for those of you who are just coming, just know that this is not so much so a religious gathering, because we do not endorse any religion or any denomination. What we are doing is reading the Bible for ourselves so that we can know what is in the Bible. Okay? Josie said, I forgive you. I know you was tired. Okay, Joe, I appreciate it. Once you forgive me, I am forgiven. Let us move right along, my friends. Proverbs chapter 29. And you all follow along with me, guys, in your book Bible or your Google Bible. The Bible is very interesting. He that being often reproved hardens his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Whosoever loveth wisdom rejoiceth his father, but he that keepeth company with harlots spendeth his substance. The king by judgment establisheth the land, but he that receiveth gifts overthrows it. A man that flatters his neighbor spreads a net for his feet. In the transgression of an evil man there is a snare, but the righteous doth sing and rejoice. The righteous considers the cause of the poor, but the wicked regards not to know it. Scornful men bring a city into a snare, but wise men turn away wrath. If a wise man contends with a foolish man, whether he rage or laugh, there is no rest. The bloodthirsty hate the upright, but the just seek his soul. A fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keeps it in until afterwards. You know, hear that? Want to listen to that again. A fool uttereth all of his mind, but a wise man keeps it in until afterwards. Sometimes you must be slow to respond. And not all the time you have to come out and want to tell people your mind. What is on your mind? You got to be discerning. You got to stop sometimes, stay quiet, pay attention, look and watch to see what is going on. If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked. The poor and the deceitful man meet together. The Lord lengthens both their eyes. The king that faithfully judges the poor, his throne shall be established forever. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings his mother to shame. Want to hear that? A child that's left to himself, a pitney who left to raise himself, a pitney who there is no parent that guides him, show him right from wrong. In go and bring shame and disgrace to you. And you know nowadays some people don't have no shame. So when we are saying the pitney are gonna bring shame and disgrace to them parents, them parents don't see it that way. Whatever they do, whether them go to jail, go to prison, whatever the case may be, the parents don't see nothing wrong with that. So what? After jail never make for dog. After I'm the first somebody will go to jail, him not gonna be the last. Because you see, to them, they raise these children without any respect for authority, without any little tools of common decency. So these children just drag up, not brought up. They are just dragged up. So them do just about anything. And them parents, especially them mothers sometimes, them have no shame. And they come on TV and they cry. And them say their son was such a good boy. He was such a faithful boy. He was such a kind boy. He would have given the shirt off him back, but he was caught knocking down an old woman, taking away her PR purse. And that's how he met his demise. Because he was knocking down an old woman, taking away her purse. But the mother come on TV and say, oh, he was so kind, he would give him the last shirt off his back. Sometimes when I see them coming out, I want to be empathetic. I really want to sympathize with them. I really want my heart to go there to embrace them, but me can't do it. Me can't do it. Especially when the sons have them long rap sheet from yesterday to New York, where they done been charged with every crime in the book before. When you listen to some of the crimes that they have committed, your heart sink. And yet, when they meet their demise, their mother come out and a ball. And I said, their son was such a good person. Good to you because him used to teach people things, bring come gift to you. Yeah. But not good to the rest of society. Yeah. That's just the plain honest to God truth. But the Bible says, the rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings his mother shame. Can't allow people to raise themselves. If you have to spank them, spank them. Whatever you got to do, do it to keep them in line. Because when they become adult, society now have no mercy upon them. Society is not having any mercy on them. When judge throw them in a prison for how much years, you have no mercy. When police fling them down and do all kinds of things, police not having no mercy on them. And some of them it's because they were not raised right. Them parents make them raise themselves. They don't tell them right from wrong. They don't discipline them. They don't punish them. Everything goes and just about anything goes. The Bible says not so for children, for them will make you shame. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it away. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increases, but the righteous shall see their fall. Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest. Yea, he shall give delight unto thy soul. Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keeps the law, happy is he. A servant will not be corrected by words, for though he understands, he will not answer. Seest thou a man that is hasty in his words? There is more hope of a fool than a man who is hasty with his words. A servant will not be corrected by words, for though he understands, he will not answer. Seest thou a man that is hasty in his words? There is more hope of a fool than of him. He that delicately brings up his servant from a child shall have him become his son at the length. Now, you know, when they talk like that, if you all remember when we read the book, on this foundation, y'all remember when we read that book, how people like Malchijah would take the servants from they were children. So if my father borrowed money from Malchijah and my father wasn't able to repay the money in due time, then Malchijah would take me as a child, as a little girl. Remember in the story, Malchijah did take that little girl as a bond servant from the time she was 6 or 7 years old. He took her. Now the Bible is saying, if you take a child servant, if you take a servant from the time they are a child, then when they become old, they shall be your son or your daughter when they become adults. Because you were the one who raised them. You were the one who had them since they were a child. You took them from their parents as a servant. So whatever they have learned during those impressionable years, they have learned under your guidance. So they are yours. An angry man stirreth up strife, and a furious man aboundeth in transgression. An angry person stirreth up strife. Yeah, people got to be very angry with themselves for them to always be seeking trouble. A man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall uphold the humble in spirit. Whosoever is partner with a thief hates his own soul. He heareth cursing and bereaveth it not. The fear of man brings a snare, but whosoever puts his trust in the Lord shall be safe. Many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment comes from the Lord. An unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked. Here ends the reading of here ends the reading of Proverbs chapter 29. Yard Foods is here. How are you doing, my dear sister? Good to see you. Good to see you, my love. Thank you for coming into the Bible reading this morning. As always, my love, I sincerely appreciate you. Proverbs chapter 30. The words of Agur. The words of Agur, that's the name of somebody, Agur. The words of Agur, the son of Jakeh. I never heard these names in the Bible before. The words of Agur, the son of Jakeh, even the prophecy. The man spake unto Ithiel, even unto Ithiel and Ukal. Oh. Surely I am more brutish than any man, and have not the understanding of a man. I neither learned wisdom, nor have the knowledge of the holy. Who hath ascended up into heaven, or descended? Who hath gathered the wind in his fist? Who hath bound the waters in a garment? Who hath established all the ends of the earth? Who is it? What is his name? And what is his son's name? If thou canst tell? Every word of God is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. And thou add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. 2 things have I required of thee. Deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me, lest I be full and deny thee, and say, Who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor and steal, and make the name of my God in vain. Accuse not a servant unto his master, lest he curse thee, and thou be found guilty. There is a generation that cursed their father, and doth not bless their mother. There is a generation that are pure in their own eyes, and yet is not washed with their filthiness. There is a generation, how lofty are their, oh, how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. There is a generation whose teeth are like swords, and their jaw teeth as knives, to devour the poor from off the earth, and the needy from among men. I guess we are living in that generation. The horse leech hath 2 daughters, crying, Give, give, give. There are 3 things that are never satisfied. Yea, 4 things say not, It is enough. The grave. The grave is never satisfied, always taking more and more victims. The barren womb. The barren womb is never satisfied, taking in more and more sperm, but never able to produce a child. The earth that is not filled with water, and the fire that saith not, It is enough. The eye that mocks at his father, and despiseth to obey his mother. The ravens of the valley shall pick it out, and the young eagles shall eat it. There be 3 things which are too wonderful for me, yea, 4 which I know not. The way of an eagle in the air, the way of a serpent upon a rock. The way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with a maid. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eats and wipes her mouth, and saith, I have done no wickedness. An adulterous woman, when it says she eats and wipes her mouth, she's an adulterous woman. She goes out, she cheats with a man, she gets dressed, picks up back herself, and pretends as though nothing happened. For three things, the earth is disquieted, and for four which it cannot beat. For a servant when he reigneth, and a fool when he is filled with meat. when fool belly full in chat anything. The Bible is so funny. For an odious woman when she is married, and an handmaid that is here to her mistress. There be four things which are little upon earth, but they are exceedingly wise. The ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare their meat in the summer. The conies are but a feeble folk, yet make they their houses in the rocks. The locusts have no king, yet go they forth, all of them by bands. The spider takes hold with her hands and is in kings' palaces. Exactly. Spiders can be found just about anywhere. No matter how fancy your house is, you will find spider. You may not find a roach, you may not find a rat, but you will find a spider. How they come in, you will never know, but you will find them. There be three kings which go well, yea, four are comely in going. A lion which is strongest among beasts, and turneth not away for any. A greyhound, as he goat also, and a king, against whom there is no rising up. So a lion, a greyhound, and a he goat. Verse 32 says, If thou hast done foolishly in lifting up thyself, or if thou hast thought evil, lay thine hand upon thy mouth. Verse 33 says, Surely the churning of milk brings forth butter, and the wringing of the nose bring forth blood. So the forcing of wrath brings forth strife. Here ends the reading of Proverbs chapter 30. Welcome into the live, everyone. Sister Yard Foods is gone to work. Have a great day, Yard Foods. And there is Joseph. Joseph is telling Yard Foods, so have a great day. Now, we are moving on to the last chapter for this morning, and that is Proverbs chapter 31. Proverbs chapter 31. The words of King Lemuel. The prophecy that his mother taught him. What, my son? And what, the son of my womb? And what, the son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroys kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law, and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more. Open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far beyond rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and works willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant's ships. She brings her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth a field, and buys it. With the fruit of her hands she plants a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She strengthens, she stretches out her hand to the poor. Yea, Sister Winsome said she missed some of the Bible because she wasn't in here. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Sister Winsome. Yeah, you did miss a little bit of it. Yeah, quite a bit of it, I think. I think you missed some about Judges or so. Hush, we will catch up, Sister Winsome. We will catch up. Verse 17 says, She girds her loins with strength and strengthens her arms. She perceives that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She strengtheneth out her hand to the poor, stretches out her hand to the poor. Yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her clothing is silk and purple. Now, you all remember when we were reading back in the book of, which book was it again? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. One of those books when we were reading. Y'all remember when Moses was ordering them to make the priestly robes? Y'all remember? The next study I just have to watch. Can't enter. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, Sister Winsome, no problem. Now, y'all remember when Moses was ordering them to make the priestly robes? The robes had to be like purple, and on the hems of the robes had to have some fabric shaped like pomegranates, and breastplates. The breastplates of the priests had to have the names of the 12 tribes of Israel and all that. Well, here in Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 22, it says that the woman, a proud woman, she makes herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. So purple was a very sacred color. Purple was a very sacred color for the Jews. And it makes me wonder because whenever I see like the priests, I don't see them wearing purple. Like in the Catholic Church, I see the father wearing purple. Like when you see the priest going on up on the altar, their robes are like purple. But I don't really see it with Jewish people, unless there is much that I don't see. But verse 23 says, "Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes fine linen and sells it, and delivers girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looks well to the ways of her household, and eats not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised." Verse 31. Oh, in Exodus. Yes, Sister Winsome. I think it was in Exodus for real. I think so. Purple was there for the tables. Exactly. Exactly. They did talk of a lot of purple, and for the drapes. For the drapes for the windows, they talk about a lot of purple, a lot of like burgundy, gold. So those were sacred colors. Verse 31 of chapter 31 of the Proverbs. And this is actually the last chapter for today and the last verse. It says, "Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates." Here ends the reading of the book of Proverbs and of Proverbs chapter 31. We have come to the end of the reading for this morning. I want to say thanks to each and every one of you who came into the live this morning, into the live reading. Those of you who are new, who are just coming in, I just want y'all to know, if you hear anything over here that tickles or offends, remember, I'm not a religious zealot. I'm not a preacher. I do not espouse any religion or any denomination. It is simply me. Letitia, what's up? Good morning, my love. Good morning, my sweetheart. How are you doing, my love? So good to see you. Grant, you finally show up. It was forbidden for local people to wear purple. Well, I mean, I know about it being forbidden for them to wear purple, but I know that purple, when we had read the chapters or the books earlier, when some said it was Exodus, I believe it probably was. When we had read it, we know that purple was a sacred color because it was the color that Moses had said that the Lord had told him was supposed to be the color of the priestly garments that he had ordered the women to make for Aaron and his sons. And all the priests wore these specially made garments. Because remember, Moses said God told him the dimension even of the tabernacle. The dimension of the tabernacle, the kind of wood to use, where what would go, where the cherubim should be, where the altar should be, all of that. And he also said the Lord told him what color clothes and how the design of the clothes should be for the priests. You go wash. All right, Sister Winsome. May I get up to me? Me still have my clothes empty out of the suitcase on the floor. Me have to go sort them out and go get some other thing. Me have to go ask God. Cause you know, say the elephant in can not forget nothing, you know. Lord have mercy. God don't forget nothing at all, I tell you. So me really have to go ask her. I know she probably in the background there listening. I have to go text her how she do, 'cause I know say she wasn't feeling too well. So me have to go text her. Okay. Somebody just send me a text. But anyway, yes, guys, that is going to be the end of the reading. Grant is in the place with some Joseph, Yard Foods, Sister Letitia, um, Ambitious Jackie was here, and I'm sure we had a lot of silent listeners. I want to say thanks to you all for having come into the live. I sincerely, sincerely appreciate you. All right, and that's going to be it from me for right now, my friends. Until next time, this is Trev from Traverse where your journey matters. Join me again tomorrow morning when we will continue the reading of the Bible. We will be starting the book of Ecclesiastes. All right. Until then, my friends, have yourselves a great day, everybody, and see you all tomorrow. Thank you, Joe. Tell them go out and make the best of your day and be safe. Thank you, Jojo. We will talk later.